everybody? Welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. Today, we're going to be talking about Matt Barzal, Edvinsson, Johansson, Soderblom, because honestly, that's really
Matt, you forgot another name. Line up.
Adam Ernie.
Yeah, baby, lock him up. I think it's time for another Ernie extension because he's earned it.
What do we want to say here? I was gonna say that's where all the YouTube searches are at. Everybody wants to talk about Edvinsson and Johansson and Soderblom, so that's where we're gonna have to keep the conversation. Also, Moritz Seider, pretty good hit. I started sharing shorts to our YouTube channel. We got 2,000 hits on a Seider video, and then I think 600 on the next one. But people were downvoting it. I didn't know how you'd be served up a Seider hit, and then you'd give it a thumbs down. I thought we were all on board with.
Was it one of the ones in Chicago?
Yeah, I think actually.
Was it some Blackhawk fans
anybody want to hear?
It?
Is this good podcasting? Does anybody want to hear me pull up and read our stats from our podcast?
We don't need the exact stats. I was just wondered if it was the one where he hit the who was that for the Blackhawks, and then the Blackhawks announce team was like, "Oh, what a hit we got on Seider! Bingo! He's not getting up from that one."
It's the one that didn't do great was the goal that Kubalik put in, and Moritz Seider got the assist. So the one that, the one that is doing good. Oh no!
Man, your audio.
It's got sound. No. We don't need sound. YouTube.
That's a wrap for us.
You silly goose. Yeah, that's what it was, and I'm not going to take the time to figure out how to. So it's just not ideal. It's a YouTube short, so I'm not going to pull it up. You guys know what hit we're talking about.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we got a lot of big news today, man. We got another big game coming here in another little bit.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. So it's 6. We started recording at 6:30. Another game coming out at 7. Just an opportunity for us to give you guys news that we might actually have learned more about by morning. Want to say hi real quick. Eric's aboard. What's going on, Eric? Hi, guys. Chewy's aboard. What's going on, Chewy? Charlie's here. What's going on, Charlie? So we're a little short on topics, but we do have some stuff to talk about. So if you guys want to ask about anything, just throw it out there. Casey McIntyre. Hey, let's go. Craig McDonald. What's going on, my man, Craig?
Hey, CMD. Haven't seen Craig in a minute. What's up, Craig?
So our lineup tonight is it includes Soderblom. So we can be happy. Elmer's in there.
You don't want to tee that up like John Keating. You know, the Red Wings tonight will have a tall order if they're going to win tonight's game, and that tall order will be a little easier with 6'8" Elmer Soderblom.
Does that lead into an interview with Elmer, or just is that his Red Wings pick of the night? You know how they do
Yeah, they do have a pick of the night. Yeah, we could do a Soderblom interview where we ask him colorful questions, and then he says, "Sometimes I drink coffee before a game." And other times, if it's big game, I have a sweet. So
Craig throws out there, Veleno's looking good.
He's gonna look great in Grand Rapids, brother. Woo! Can't wait.
We're gonna throw out Max Boltman threw out his lineups. I think we might have touched on it a little bit last week too, but where we were talking about who we thought was going to make it, and I think we actually lined up pretty good. Besides our feelings on Soderblom, so we're gonna get pretty close to lining up. But for us and for Max, and I like to qualify it that way because I do title insurance. I market title insurance for a career. Mike, you Do you
You're
do the
employed,
title
isn't it?
insurance, or do you do the underwriting, or are you part of escrow?
I just I like to be the Creed Bratton of the office. Creed,
Ah,
you do something. That's right, boss. Who wants
Quabity
to see a foot
Ashwin.
with 4 toes? You know.
Are you? Isn't it Quabity Ashwins? Isn't that what you were a
Yeah,
part of? That's your
I should
department.
learn what that is. Qua something. I can never remember.
Quabity.
Um,
That's the only Creed line I'll always remember is Quabity.
well, let's
Murdoch's
touch
aboard.
on.
What's going on, Murdoch?
Oh, that's a really great thumbnail. But yeah, Boltman's projected lineup is a bit of a bummer for people like me and people who are fans of this show.
There it is.
Because I know we wanted to get, we had those fantasies of Soderblom making it, or Berggren making it.
Yeah.
Hey, Chewy with a foot with 4 toes, my man. Boltman doesn't see it. And I'm a little bummed because Soderblom started out really hot the first 2 games, and then it kind of feels like they're letting other guys get ice time. And Ernie is having the preseason of his life. When I thought that here Giovanni Smith would be the easy. Instead, Ernie is looking like, I still deserve a spot. God damn it. So yeah, he kind of looks like the Viper going up against the Mountain in like season 4 of Game of Thrones. So hopefully Soderblom ends up triumphing at the end by squishing Ernie's head like a grape.
I know what you're doing. I know what you're saying, but is it?
Yeah.
Is it in regarding?
It's all about the
He'll
size.
have his
That
head
is all
squished
it's
at some
about.
point, because he's kind of selling us, right? I mean, he's definitely selling Lalonde right now on this is the way to go. Silver wants to know if we're live. Yes, Silver, we're live.
We're live, Silver.
Now, wouldn't it be crazy if we weren't live and we had that planned out where we have a fake account for Silver that's asking the question? We be live?
I was hoping Silver would have a typo in his comment. He's like, let me do that again. And we'd have to go, so, we're live, buddy. The little psycho said Jim Ross there. But anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of what Max threw out there, so we can read it line by line here, looks like what we were sharing from like Jay Fresh. When Jay Fresh was just doing, Jay Fresh was putting together the how does this work out when you just order these guys by like best war percentage? And Bertuzzi, Larkin, Raymond, Bango, you got your first line. Perron, Kopp, and Verana, your second line. And of course, I'm reading these left wing to right wing. Zadina, Rasmussen, Kubalik, and your fourth line, Adam Ernie, Pius Suter, Oscar Sundqvist. Fourth line gets the least amount of minutes, should be the least of our concerns. But like you said, Mike, it did kind of feel like Ernie, we were almost done. It felt like we were good to go. And then we got this. Oof. We got this one from Derek. And look. We spent so much time defending Jeffy Boy, Jeffy B, Jeff Blash, the Blashinator. And just telling you guys this is before I get started here, let me say what I'm about to say has nothing to do with like a judgment on Derek Lalonde. While we did say many funny things about the quotes that Jeff would give us, very rarely did we say oh, the difference is always going to be the new head coach. It's not going to be just new players. We need a new coach in there to get Joe Veleno to step up. Like we questioned some of the abilities of those players. Now, one thing, ladies and gentlemen, that was a sticking point with Jeff. And
you want to talk about a sticking point. Now you're going to read this quote about Ernie, but the picture you found of Lalonde, he looks. Speaking of sticky, he looks like me watching the people making the Cinnabons at the mall. He looks like he's looking at the most delicious thing he's ever seen in his life.
Yeah, you guys are doing yourself a disservice right now if you're not watching the YouTube show. So I purposefully, while watching the game, through Bally Sports Plus, by the way, saw this picture. I watched it a million times. I think I have a GIF of this too, and I'm really hoping that it actually turns out he's licking his lips like just. But the point we're coming to, besides this goofy picture, Derek, and it was perfect for this quote. is I mean, it's exactly this. You look at someone who's having a good camp right now, Adam Ernie. If you recall, 2 games ago, he gets 2 goals. And we flip him and Pontus, just give Andreasen a look with some different players. And then the line Adam went on, drove the offense. And he didn't say this, but if I were Max, I would have added in parentheses in the preseason. But so the conclusion I'm coming to is that both Derek and Jeff Blashill would have come to the same conclusion that Adam Ernie belonged on this team. So, here we are. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to do this every time there's like a decision that Derek has made and it lines up with a Jeffy Boy decision. But this seems like fun. I did want to point it out. And we're so far 0 for 1 on the Adam Ernie decisions because it does look like we're leaning into giving him a spot on the team. Now, this is a management decision plus coaching. So it's not like it's only on Derek here, which we always mention with Jeffy Boy. But
yeah,
God damn it all to hell. If you were lining up a list of like, all right, you're making Dylan Larkin decisions. All right, check. You made the right one. He's on the first line. All right. You also have to make Lucas Raymond decisions. All right, check. You got Moritz Seider decisions. Easy. These are easy decisions. But Mike, some decisions are tough, but some still seem obvious despite anything that would happen to push you in the other direction. It's still an easy decision. And that Adam Ernie one seemed like an easy one, but God damn it all to hell. Here we are.
I think the problem, Matt, is that there's no members of Red Wings Rant with a press pass. Because if I would have heard this quote, you look at someone who's having a good camp right now, Adam Ernie, if you recall, 2 games ago, he gets 2 goals. Playing with Soderblom! Yeah,
right.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. And he just would have combusted.
It wasn't that Ernie was. Yeah, it wasn't that Ernie was open because everybody was guarding the 8'5" forward. It was Adam Ernie and his craftiness that we've come to know and love. That got him open.
The defense of the other team was a series of orcs and urukai jumping on an ent, and he was a wide open hobbit with nobody coming to attack him. No, it had nothing to do with that at all. Yeah, it was just Ernie's skill. Murdoch, get used to it, because as long as he's healthy, he's got a job here. Dan B with my favorite comment so far. Ernie, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. I like that a lot. I mean, I don't, but you know what I mean.
And this is what I was coming to as well with Ernie and kind of calling out. Was it Soderblom that seemed to be getting all the attention and leaving Ernie open? Or was it the consistent high level of offensive production we've come to know from Ernie? And of course, that's not true. And as Silver points out, Ernie, well, I'll say this. I won't go as far as Silver. Ernie is fantastic if he's there every night, but he's not, and that's the reality. And to kind of, I'll say it's good to have an Adam Ernie when he's on like that 10-game point streak, but it's never great to have an Adam Ernie.
Let me push back on that. Okay.
Yeah.
How many points do you think Ernie scored last season? How many did it feel like? So then just do that.
12.
Matt, he actually got 19 points. Wow. Ooh. So we talk about him being on the ice. How many games do you think Ernie played?
60.
Matt, he played almost the entire season. He played 79 games. 79 games, and he got 19 points.
I'm not going to harp on him for points. It's also not part of his role. But
no, but
I don't want to give him a spot on the team because a couple of pucks bounced off his stick. That's my problem.
It just, I don't know. This was like the perfect storm scenario to keep Soderblom in Grand Rapids is Ernie getting a few goals and, making Lalonde look like he's, on the glass at Cinnabon. So it's gonna have to be a little bit patient. But man, I do have a question. For you here.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I hope you're ready because I know you love impromptu questions.
Go for it.
as much as we love Boltman, it's an opinion with a lot of research behind it. He did kind of take the chicken poo-poo way out, and he still had Andrew Kopp in the top 12. And Kopp is, I think it's going to be really tough to see him on opening night. Who is going to take that roster spot if Kopp still needs a little bit of time to recuperate or recuperate?
So he is practicing, and we know that. And I feel like he has been practicing with those, what we're looking at here, David Perron, if you guys are watching on YouTube, and Verona. He's been practicing with quite a few folks, but I think that's where he's leaning into that. I think it still makes sense to keep Kopp out, but eventually you have to put him in there. So I feel like, I don't know, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So if he's ready, if he's healthy, if he's 100%, I say play him. If he's not, there's no point in rushing Kopp because we have this huge.
You're taking this question a completely different route. Who is first one up opening night?
I think first one up is Joe Veleno. You hate that answer.
But I believe that answer
to be true.
Yeah. I really thought, because I know that when they list these guys, they get a little creative with the position diversity and flexibility. Because they list Berggren as a wing and a center. As much as we love him, I don't know if he's ever going to be a center for the Red Wings, but it just gave me a little bit of hope that he'd be one of the first guys up. But it probably is going to be Veleno. And then I guess the question then would be, who would be the second line center? Is it Seider or Rasmussen?
Sorry.
If Kopp is not playing.
I just heard my wife running through the house and yelling no.
They're kids, man. They get in trouble. It's going to be fine. I used to bash you in the head with a baseball bat. Look how you turned out.
All right, let me get back into it. Kopp, he's out. What was the question? It was like,
all right, Kopp is out. Your wife is running around with a knife, chasing a break-in into your house. No. Who gets that spot on the second line center, man?
Okay, with Veleno in there, I think we just knock everybody up a line here. So Rasmussen will go to line number 2. Suter's going to go to 3, and then Veleno's taking over number 4.
Oof.
Now, I'll say this. If Soderblom and Berggren, let's just throw that name in there, are getting sent down to the minors, I don't think it's because they performed poorly. I think it's because they want them down there to get something in line, something straightened out. So I don't think that player gets called up immediately. Joe Veleno has been up and down, and Mike, we might kind of know what we've got with Joe Veleno. That's why I would peg him as the first name to come up. Because what else are we going to teach Joe Veleno? You need another year. You need another year in Grand Rapids to light up, your minor league opponent, only to come up and kind of get stifled and just not see the puck go in the back of the net. That's fine for filling out the fourth line. Why not? And I'm not saying Joe can't surprise us this year. But I'll say that. I think if they aren't making the team, it's because they need something to get sorted out. Maybe I'm not smart enough to put a finger on what exactly that is, but on the macro view of that decision, it just doesn't seem like, well, no, you didn't. We see some things we want to iron out, but then the second there's an injury, you're coming up. Now, that being said, they come up eventually, and I think it would have purpose. I think it would be oh God, I think it would be long-term sort of injuries, but I think when it's going to be something short-term like this, where it seems like Kopp is right on the edge of arriving. So Kopp's edging, right? And he's about to arrive. But yeah, if it's something longer term, and I think we're looking at the second injury on the team, that's where those names come up. But if it's going to be a short stint, and we don't know if this person's even going to be playing, 2 weeks from now, then I think it's Joe Veleno. Now, Murdoch came up with a great point, and Murdoch, I love you to death for this comment. Elmer has to make the team so that he can get the Little Caesars franchise grade at the end of the season. Of course, our favorite episode to do every year is the grades by Little Caesars pizza items. Murdoch, you're the man for bringing that up. So yeah, it's not like, oh, is this the most fun conversation in the world? But I'm like trying to put a level head on and answer based on like that again, that decision to not put Soderblom in the opening night lineup.
Do you think that this question is less fun because of Kop's position? Like if we were down a wing, I think it would be a little bit more interesting. Like you could almost guarantee that like you'd get a Berggren or a Soderblom cameo.
Yeah, and the scary thing too, I might even, unless they're moved off of the franchise, I might even guess that Giovanni Smith might come up first. All right, real talk, real quick. Brad just throws out there, Matt just used arriving in place of coming. Is that not?
That's what happens after you have two kids. You start saying arriving.
All right, where were we? Did we talk about the defense yet?
No, see, the defense for me is not as exciting. I feel like it's already kind of set in stone that Edvinsson would just have to completely crap the bed to not make the opening night roster. So he's in. There's no way Mo, Sherratt, Mata and Hronek and Lundstrom and Osterley in some capacity will make the team. So it was just whether or not Edvinsson crapped the bed or not.
This is what we put out, like what we put together, like, I don't know, the day after free agency on that episode? This is exactly what we put together. So not a lot has changed. However, I did like what Max pointed out, and we don't really have like a ton of analytics that we can create ourselves. So I had to steal this from Max, but this is the kind of stuff we like to go over episode by episode. But Max points out the wild card for that defense is Albert, who we mentioned at the top of the show. We wanted to discuss Johansson. He would have assumed would have started in Grand Rapids, but has actually put up some of the strongest underlying numbers, as we like to call them, our advanced analytics, on the team in the preseason. Detroit's shot share with him on the ice is 60%. And for expected goals for percentage, that number jumps above 70%. Max goes on to say, I certainly am not going to get caught up with those numbers for a couple of preseason games, but they're further positive indicators for Johansson that after a good camp. So here's the thing. We've talked about when he was going to be coming to town, and we're talking about Albert, that what he showed in the SHL is like a player that looked to be ready to go. And we were talking about hot takes a couple weeks ago that Albert would make the team before Simon. I think what you're seeing is just evidence that there's probably enough of a case that it could be like a toss up in regards to those two names. And you get, I would say, similar production from the team on a whole, inserting one name or the other. It's another thing, too, with Albert being a little bit older than Simon. I might lean in that direction myself at this point, especially with him, with the test he's gotten so far. These numbers kind of make it look like a no-brainer. But that's exactly what Max said. You can't make it a no-brainer based off of advanced analytics, but that is one thing to point out, that he's getting more shots than the opponent. We've talked about how he's been a part of some spectacular looking passes like we showed in last week's episode. You guys can check that out. So I just, we've seen like the talent level there. We've seen the numbers there. I think it's a good option. I think it's something to keep in mind. And I think it's something where a name like Osterley has a pretty short leash for me. And, I would consider, too, with some of the question marks on this team, kind of thinking wrong side shot as well, just to see if we can insert an Albert in there, or even, figuring out some way to get these guys to kind of work out on the roster here. But things seem to be going well, and Albert's been pegged by our own development team as someone who's been ready to go maybe even last season, and they wanted to give him that extra year. And maybe not. I don't want to. When I say ready to go, I mean they were talking about him coming to North America. He was ready to be in North America and get that game rolling. I think there's contract issues, what have you. But anyway, Albert's come over. You could make the argument by these advanced analytics has had one of the best preseasons for all the defensemen. So why not?
Well, I think the only thing getting in his way isn't he a left side defenseman?
Yeah, that's where I'm talking about.
So
playing
yeah, so it would have to be Edvinsson.
Put him in there.
Yeah, it would have to be Edvinsson, I guess. I mean, I guess you could, make him the seventh guy with Osterley, but I think I kind of like Osterley being ambidextrous. Just like the Zodiac Killer,
like filling in on both sides. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like the Zodiac Killer who is ambidextrous.
Oh, exactly. I'm sure Jordan would love to hear that.
Yeah, a little fun nugget there. So it kind of stinks because the spot he would have to take is Edvinsson's, who would have to have like some rookie blues, and they send him down to, figure some stuff out. And Eric Johnson saying he wouldn't be against Albert being in Detroit. So yeah,
I like this comment. GLJ comes aboard. What's going on, GLJ? Gustav Lindstrom seems like a placeholder. If the Wings could find that good right side D. Yeah, we really liked that's a good point for two reasons, and I like this comment. I think you're right, GLJ, but it's a good comment as well because we loved Gustav's numbers at the start of last year. So of course, I think it's a good reminder for all of us, me most importantly, to not get too excited about Albert's advanced analytics.
About a small sample size.
Right. Exactly. We need to see the season start to finish because we saw Gustav kind of tail off at the end of last season. Jared threw out there that Mike crapped the bed once.
It was more than once, Jared.
one time. Yeah. Chewy thrown out there. Biaka Matuka, 6'4" right hand shot. Yeah, I don't think that's going too great. For Jeremy.
Yeah, Chewy, I don't know if you saw that. There's that little nugget about it looks like Chicago is ready to give him an offer too.
Another good point here from Murdoch. Hronek has already made some bad plays, and it's only the preseason. Not confident he'll progress much. Yeah, I think you've got a finished product in Hronek, so it just depends on that contract expiring. Does it ever look appealing to another team? I'm really itchy right now. I don't know if you can tell. I'm like itching all over.
I thought it was because of that tea kettle going off in the background.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah, there's a little guy screaming.
Your podcast tea is ready. But yeah, the Hronek, man, Murdoch, I think that's, what is that, awesome point number 3 for Murdoch? But yeah, Hronek, I mean, he's basically for us what looks like a finished product, but he's going to be a statue getting a lot of pigeon poop because he's not going anywhere. Not for $4 million a year for an okay defenseman.
Yeah, I guess that's where I come in and ask the question about playing some of these guys on the wrong side, because it feels like there are a lot of options, and simultaneously I hate everyone besides Moritz Seider on our like besides Edvinsson and besides Seider, I hate the other 4 defensemen in our 3 pairs. So it's so weird that it feels like, oh, there's nowhere to put these guys, but then at the same time it's like, God, I fucking hate this whole thing.
I'm kind of cheating because Larkin has not signed an extension yet. Bertuzzi's not signed an extension yet, but after this season, Matt Hronek is the number 5 salary for your Detroit Red Wings at $4.4 million. Number 5 on the entire team. Woo!
Yeah, that's where it comes in, where it's like, I think we know, like, we could upgrade on your second pairing, right side defenseman. It'd be great to have like a Hronek on your third pair. But
the problem with trades is that you also need a willing partner. So
that's where I was going. So that's where I was like, all right, Hronik's on this team as long as the contract is still on, and if it ever becomes more appealing, which it could become more appealing if the salary cap starts to shoot up. Which
if we end up giving up on Tyler Bertuzzi, Matt, I mean he's the Cabrera and Hronik is the Dontrell Willis that you have to throw in.
Yeah, I mean it is one of those things where we're going to talk about like the Dylan Larkin future contract, but I think that's one element that people forget too. Like we don't like the Hronik contract. I think it's fair to say, even though we haven't seen a regular season game from Sherratt, that nationally, I mean internationally, I guess, right? Because you have to say American coverage and Canadian coverage, was an overpay. But once those contracts, or once that salary cap starts going up, those are going to be very movable, fine contracts for what they are. Like there are some points for like Barzal's contract going out that we wanted to bring to Dylan Larkin's contract, the future of what holds for his contract. But I think that's an element. Like we're always talking about how are players going to use this to get paid more, but we haven't talked about like some of these longer term ink deals are going to be a part of that salary cap increase too, and you're going to have a lot of flexibility with some of these deals. But it's also one of those things that could definitely hurt us. Bert, Dylan could take advantage of that. Now that we know that's out there, I think Elliot Friedman was strategic in letting it slip that will probably be increasing the salary cap by 10 million over the next couple of years. Like that's said for the players. That's put out there as news for the players. So the players can turn around and say, well, yeah, if you want to pay me that much, it's that percentage right now, but it most certainly won't be that percentage 2 years from now. So it's pretty cool. We've got performance art is aboard. Hola, performance art.
Hey, Johnny P.
GLJ thrown out there. Mata's interview came out earlier today. He had good things to say about Hronik. But yeah. that was kind of cute. Johnny P throws out there, at what does bulking up? So at what point does bulking up slow you down? I read that Veleno article this week, and I've been thinking about that for a long time. Not everybody should bulk up. It's player specific. I mean, I can't put a finger on that, but I know what you're saying, Johnny. Like, is Veleno the guy that needed to bulk up, or did he need to focus on agility and speed? I think it's a good question. I think right now, what we saw of Veleno, you could make the argument that it was a need of a change. Had you guys seen a finished product? Had you seen his application of the Joe Veleno player and thought to yourself, well, that's good to go?
I'm not going to go too hard on Veleno beefing up, because if he's going to try and figure out, okay, if I'm going to have a job, but I mean, if he's going to have a long-term career in the league, is he closer to being an elite goal scorer or an elite like forechecker and enforcer on the third or fourth line who's around for a long time? So I think for him, he's like, you just admit what you're good at, and we know he's going to be a high effort guy who likes bumping into people and causing chaos. So I agree with his decision to bulk up. I think it's a smart move on his part.
Yeah, I guess my thing with saying, did you think that he was a finished product is just kind of thrown out there. Like, if he's going to make a change like that, and your point too, when those guys bulk up, that is like a safety concern as well. Like when you do bulk up your body, you're going to get injured less. It's not an exact formula, but it's a thing.
Well, I mean, like, look at pro wrestlers. Like, they take a lot of bumps on their back, and the guys who have longer careers are the ones who have more muscle and like protection over joints and tendons, over their spines, over their necks. Look at Brock Lesnar, who did a shooting star press and landed directly on his neck. And not only did he survive the match, he won that match and continues to thrive today because he had so much muscle.
Well, Johnny P throws out there too. It's actually the story is the opposite. So Veleno is debulking, which I'd be
Oh,
very careful with
that's a nightmare. Yeah, I would not advise that. Don't do it, Joe. Don't do it.
We both look at the guy and go, "Yeah, that's scrawny piece of he's got to bulk up."
Yeah, I didn't think he was steps away from being an elite goal scorer. That's something where you can kind of say, all right, Zadina, you could work on, agility or, get with Verana and figure out how to get some more snap on your shot. But I didn't see it with Joe. I thought he had a longer path to becoming a goal scorer. I thought he was closer to being my third or fourth line guy that I can count on to ham it up. But Joe disagrees with me.
All right. We're gonna pause here for a second. Looks like the Wings game is getting started in Washington, but you guys know what's about to come up. Hockey fans, it's finally time to hit the ice again, and thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you're in for the season of a lifetime. New customers can bet $5 on any team and get $200 in free bets if they win. I mean, anything Red Wings, I think we got to take a look, boys. We got to take a look at that every game. Yeah. If that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $200 in free bets if they do. That's code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for the details. All right. How did that sound? That was not practice.
Man, that sounded like a real ad right off the radio. It's amazing.
All right, Justin's coming in
hot
with the transition here of a lifetime. I actually am going to pull up ye old Red Wings game for the corner of my eye here. Oh my God, it froze the second I pull it up. All right, Justin throws out there, what do you think Dylan Larkin's next contract is going to look like? Well, that is a very timely. What? How does one put that? The timing on this question is great. I don't care. All right, let's jump in.
A timely segue. Here we go.
Because Matt Barzal just signed an 8-year extension, came in at $9.15 million. All right, so we've talked about quite a few times, even before this contract came in, that we thought there's going to be some effect by the increased salary cap, and basically just who Dylan Larkin is going to put him, or I think a lot of people were telling us, Mike, that they were saying 8, that we were saying 9 and up. And now Matt Barzal's getting paid $9.15 million. And you have to ask yourself, would you rather have Matt Barzal or Dylan Larkin right now? And I think I'd lean Dylan Larkin. Now that's me. So basically, this is the game I love to play, because people will look you dead in the eye and say, well, no, I'd rather have Dylan Larkin. Oh, so you think he should get paid more than Matt Barzal?
I didn't say all that.
That's ridiculous. No way. Matt Barzal's worth 10, 20 more points a season than Dylan Larkin. So it is a fun conversation for me to have when I go to work and people are that. But we've already made the argument that we saw 9.5, right? Was that the number we landed on for Dylan?
No, you can shower the praise this way, bud. I'm the one who said 10. 10. 10.
Now you are showering yourself with praise despite Barzal being at 9.15. You think he's got a whole nother million to negotiate there. Well, I'm sorry, a whole nother 0.85, another 850,000 to negotiate there over the Barzy boy.
These are a lot of kids getting these deals, and Larkin is a man, and he leads this team, man. He's the face of the franchise. There's no way he's taking some $8 million deal unless he has a horrible agent and it's just some ridiculous, Tom Brady, New England Patriots. Let me give you a home team discount thing, which I do not advise. Get your bag and get out, son. You have to earn.
So here's the timeline for this summer. It was started in July. Robert Thomas, Josh Norris signed 8-year deals at $8.125 million and $7.95 million, respectively. So this is with St. Louis and Ottawa, also respectively. In August, Buffalo's Tage Thompson exploded for 68 points. Is how this was put in the Athletic. Signed for 7 years, $7.14 million. September, JT Miller signs an 8-year extension at $8 million. Tim Stützle, 8-year extension at $8.35 million.
Who
Nathan McKinnon, Tim Stützle.
Thank you.
How do you think Jimmy Howard feels about losing number 35 already to Ville Husso? Like there was no romance about it. It's like a number 35 came in, boom, gone. Anyway,
I know my mic is not that hot, but I did fart when he said the name Jimmy Howard. Let's continue.
Nathan McKinnon signs an 8-year extension, $12.6 million. That makes perfect sense. And then Matt Barzal's 8-year at $9.15 million comes in.
We had a lot of frugal estimates not 2 weeks ago, Matt, but not this guy. Not this guy right here. I said this guy's going to be getting 10. This market is about to go bananas. And Matt, the trajectory is on pace. The prognosticator over here.
Yeah, I like what the Athletic put together, because they point out this career points per game is in favor of one Matthew Barzal. 0.86, where Dylan Larkin's down at 0.71. You have Mika Zibanejad 0.72, Kuznetsov 0.7, Logan Couture 0.75. All those numbers, then we come to Dylan at 0.71. But what I really like what the Athletic did was created this platform points. And this is when you're talking about your season leading up to this and what are you most likely to look like going into this contract? What do you look like as Dylan Larkin, the right in the middle of his prime Dylan Larkin? Points per game, 0.81 for Matthew Barzal. Zibanejad is 0.89. Kuznetsov is 0.72. Logan Couture, 0.78. And Dylan Larkin is 0.97. We could play the same thing with the goals game. Dylan Larkin leading the way. Time on ice, only Mika Zibanejad. I would say, probably that makes sense. Has more time on ice per game. Age of the contract, we got a Logan Couture at like 30. We got a Zibanejad at 29. And then Kuznetsov and Barzal, 25 and 26, respectively. Dylan is going to be on top of those at 27. I think this platform points per game played is incredible. It was really smart to pull this together. And it's one of those things where you kind of look at where these contracts are headed. You look at what Matt Barzal's been able to do.
Can you say one more time what was the platform points again?
This is you coming into your season, your contract season, and Dylan Larkin being in the middle of his prime. So this is your prime sort of estimate. I shouldn't say estimated. This is the production you actually put out there.
So it's not okay. So I just want to make sure it wasn't saying that your contract year is going to go really well. It's saying would year one of your contract would do really well. Is that what that means?
It means while you're in your prime and trying to get to. Well, I guess this wouldn't be Dylan's contract year. Maybe I do need to reread this because he's still got one more year. Yeah. But this was supposed to be. This is the mention of contract years and their prime, being in their prime of like this 26 to 28.
Yeah, I mean, the way these contracts are coming out, it would be absolutely bananas to me if he only signed for 7 or 8. Just like irresponsible on his part. The cap's going up. He's too valuable to this team. We know what he means, Matt. It should even be a question, really. Should he be a top earner, a la McKinnon? No. Should he be, probably 2 to 3 million above the next Red Wing? Probably. Seeing as his competition will be, like Bertuzzi, who's next for negotiating. Yeah, I don't really see why he wouldn't be like 10 mil. I don't know why he wouldn't be that large of a percentage of the cap space.
Yeah, and I think too, like we've talked about like what this impact is from like and everybody hates it when I bring it up, but like from a marketing perspective. So I mean, it's just one of those things. Like that's the value he brings to this team, and I think it makes perfect sense. I don't know. I get it. Like you don't want to pay him too much, but I don't think he's going to destroy the Red Wings with that contract. And I think too if this contract hasn't happened yet, which goes against what Dylan said he wanted to do. He said he wanted to get this contract out of the way before the season started. So I am just because of that, I'm a little hesitant. It could mean that Steve's going to play some hardball here, but that also means like the two sides don't agree. So that just means we're going to keep getting a number, and usually I'm going to say that happens. Player's going to get his way, right? It's not like the first number Steve's going to throw out there is going to be the. If it was ready to go, it would have been ready to go. And
well, we talked so much last season about, all right, what is a player like Zadina? What kind of contract is he going to get because it's up? And he did not score very much. He did have some really good stretches, right, where his expected points were really high.
Mm-hmm.
And they rewarded him with a 3-year prove-it deal because it's not very much on the average annual value. Now, Larkin, we've invested. We've gotten a second competent goaltender. I've spent a lot of money on my defense. I've acquired basically a second line for you. So we have some depth, and this is not all on your shoulders. So if my defense is a little bit better, I have 2 goalies that I feel I can trust, and maybe a third if we're talking Cossa, huh? But if I have a little bit of a team around you, do you want to sign this contract before the season, or do you want to see what kind of numbers you can put up with a real team behind you where we think we can be a fringe playoff team? Like, do you think that, because I don't think we've seen the best of Larkin, right? I don't think Larkin would say we've seen the best of Larkin. So do you think he would rather, I know he said he wants it before the season, but god dang, that would be such a great negotiating chip to put up numbers on this version of the Red Wings.
Yeah, you're definitely too like making it.
Because he's, you know what, Matt? Let me throw in one more thing because I want to hear what you say too. But we have never seen this poor guy like make like playing a meaningful hockey game. Like, what if he could actually get playoff points this season?
That's a good point. Sorry, we had a dating, like a porn app in our chat, so I had to delete it. So I'm a little distracted. But it was like blasting out. Check out our dating site. Jared threw out there. We need a moderator. I got it. We're all set. He or she is gone. Chat 69, everybody. If you want to check it out, it's Chat 69.
Chat 69. God. Sounds like something I came up with. Go ahead.
No, but what I was going to say was it's a great point because if he's seeing what we're seeing with Lucas Raymond and Lucas just kind of like toying around in the preseason so far, like, yeah, I'm going to hold up. I'm going to show you guys I'm over a point per game. And I did confirm the platform year is these guys being in the contract year. So they're considering last season the contract year for Dylan because he would sign it this year. So it's less of a science and more of an assumption that making it a contract year. So that's what's going on there. Chewy calling out multitasker. Dan B throws out there would prefer a deal before or would you prefer a deal before or after season? Don't want Larkin distracted in season. I think that's what Dylan was sort of talking about when he said he wanted to get it done before the season started, so he didn't have to worry about it. But yeah, I think if they don't get it done before the regular season, and guys, I think our next episode we're going to be talking about this contract. So Just just get ready. If they don't get it done, it won't be done until the season's complete. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, that's my hot take. By next week, we'll be doing our preview for the regular season, but we will also be touching on Dylan Larkin's new contract. Guarantee it.
Unless it's a pretty sexy deal that it is up at my number, I would have waited. But yeah, I never feel like hockey players. It's like they all have this collective mindset to kind of be, a team guy, like for the organization. And, they'll say something like, I don't want it to be a distraction. And for me, it's like, man, like in baseball, Aaron Judge just set the American League record for most home runs in a season. And he wasn't like worried about a contract now. He's like, no, I'm doing that in the offseason because I'm going to hit a bunch of home runs and be a super duper rich $40 to $50 million a year player. Like you've never seen a contract like this before. And hockey players are like, well, let's do what's best for the organization. Maybe I'll take a declining deal for like 15 years and I'll start at $3 million. Then I'll go down to like $500,000 and, then I'll have a nice retirement plan and I'll still come out and volunteer, for the team and coach little league or something like that. And it's just hockey players who have that mindset, Matt. I don't think it transcends to other sports.
This is great timing because we're talking about Dylan's like value to this team too, and it's like we don't give enough credit to his leadership and his hockey smarts because we're on a power play and he gets himself out. I couldn't see who was on Washington, but gets himself out in front of the Washington penalty killer, and they immediately are like caught off guard and they have to pull him down to the ice. And now it's a 5-on-3, all thanks to Dylan Larkin. So. Hey, Tuesday puts one in, power play goal.
Hey.
I gotta say, guys, if you're watching this, that looked super duper easy. How many times did we watch 5-on-3s last year where it just looked like we were passing, between the circles and just couldn't get that play to go? And guess who started it? Albert Johansson. That's right. Oh, I like Jared. Jared calls it clean.
Mr. Griffin himself.
Goal.
Mr. Griffin.
No, come on. All right, I do hate this because they give us the feed like from inside. What's Washington's arena called?
Capital City Arena. I don't know.
Oh, that's not Capital One.
Like that.
I don't know. Anyway,
doesn't matter.
Yeah. What were we talking about? All right, that power play. How many times we would just see the power play just like have no real direction and they're just passing the puck back and forth. But Albert got it started. Puck gets down low to Rasmussen and Tuesday's set up to just put it away. I mean, it seemed almost too easy. It seemed kind of dumb. Like, why is it, that should be your set 5-on-3 play. It's just throw it down low to the big guy and then Tuesday's wide open to dunk it. But we say it's obvious, and it happened never for us last year. Oh, Valeno almost got one, but so close.
I'm glad he didn't, because I didn't want him to point at the camera and go, this was for Mike and Red Wings Rant.
It is pretty cool, too. These power plays are set up. Johansson's on the... Is our QB for that last power play I was talking about, and now we've got Edvinsson on this one. This is fun. We're getting a good look here. I highly recommend you guys do. They're doing the game for free if you head over to the Red Wings website, so you guys can all check this out too. And I think with that, I'm getting ready to wrap up, and I'm gonna watch the rest of this and probably grab my son and make sure he's still alive. Check on my daughter.
Yeah, we might be kind of light on topics today. Was there anything else you wanted to just blitz through?
No, we got the Larkin stuff down. Oh, there was. It was things I'd have to pull everybody's eyes away from this game. Mike, are you watching Lord of the Rings show?
I haven't. I'm not up to date.
Okay. Have you met Isildur?
Yes.
Okay.
He is on the first line for the Detroit Red Wings?
That's correct. I don't know if everybody else has had a chance to watch the show. But I think Ketzel put it best that it stinks that Ketzel's not here to talk about this, but every time he smiles, I'm expecting a big gap from a missing tooth. Isildur could be perfectly cast in the Red Wings forYzerman movie that'll be coming out in about 10 years, celebrating our cups. But oh my God, this guy is incredibly would be incredibly perfectly cast as Tyler. Like, that was it. I don't know. I don't really have too many subjects. I think people are already bouncing from the stream, so it's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's preseason. We're waiting on the Larkin contract, and we're waiting for Soderblom to get his hat trick tonight and make his way to Grand Rapids next week.
Yeah, I think just to kind of give you guys the tease for next week, it's got to be our season preview. I guarantee we're talking about that Dylan Larkin contract, and we're going to be talking about who made the team. Also, we got to remind you guys. I think I have our seats for the Red Wings game,
and there's one more tease.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a little fantasy hockey with the Red Wings Rant boys.
I totally forgot. Yeah, we set up the league. Yeah, that
10
means
spots open.
I got to share that right now. If you guys want to join our fantasy league, I'll put it in the chat right now. So you guys just hang on. Now, anybody listening to the podcast, head on over to YouTube, find the Brothers of Discussion. It'll be in the chat. I'll have that posted for you guys. Oh my gosh. Where is that league? All right.
We're doing that one in ESPN, I believe.
Yeah. Are you Soderblom and Onions?
I am Soderblom and Onions.
All right. Let's do this. Anybody that wants to join, feel free. Just click on the link there. I'm posting it to I guess I posted it to Twitch and Facebook too, but yeah, check it out on YouTube. Go to Brothers of Discussion. We'll see what you guys look like, and then we'll toss it out to like Twitter and Instagram. But we wanted to give YouTube viewers first shot. Mike, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that was going to be a waste of a league at 2 people.
What's the is opening night? Does that count as October 7th?
What? October 14th.
Oh, because I'm looking at Nashville versus San Jose Sharks.
Oh, really?
The NHL Global Series at O2 Arena in Prague.
Oh, that might be why. Okay. I am not staying in tune with a full league right now.
But I think there's games on the 12th, October 12th. So we probably got to kick this out maybe within the next week.
Yeah, so once this gets loaded up, we'll kind of push out some messages through the ESPN Fantasy League. Yeah, and I hope we can fill this out real quick. We might adjust here if we only get like a few names. We'll adjust the team total, but we'll figure it out. But I hope you guys will join. It should be fun. Maybe we'll do a prize from Red Wings Rant. I don't know. We'll decide like what's
and maybe we'll get some tips to help you help your teams
jersey
tank so we can win.
Yeah. Weekly tips. Oh yeah, Joe Valeno's finally gonna heat up.
It's gonna be a first round,
guys.
Oh, okay. In our fantasy draft.
Yeah, that's what I was improving a scenario a couple months from now where we're like, this week Joe Valeno, I guarantee it, which was implying that we had gone
waiver pickup.
We'd gone weeks of recommending him. All right. Catch us on ESPN Fantasy League. Chewy looks like he's coming aboard. Awesome.
Hey, my man.
And yeah, we'll figure it out. It's either going to be like a jersey or tickets, or maybe that'll be the option. And if you're in the Detroit area, you can have tickets. And if you're in,
and yeah, Chewy, that's most of what these leagues are. It's just the most creative name actually wins the league. So
yeah, you actually get 2 extra wins if we like your name.
You got to beat Soderblom and Onions. So Chewy, the floor is yours, sir.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of the game, and go Red Wings.
Woo!